Petty Wop. He asks, who do you think, or I'll rephrase that, what do you think the perfect college football playoff would look like? So shouts out to Petty Wop. That's a hilarious handle. We got some thoughts on this. First things first, though, make sure you're subscribed. If you're watching this show as a one-off video, like you went and found this in its, let's say it's 10-ish or so minutes, glad to have you here. Make sure you're subscribed. It's college football all the time. But when you're subscribed, you make sure you don't miss the live show of The Hard Count, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, where we just talk college football for an hour. It's glorious, and we hear from y'all via the live chat. So make sure you're locked in for that. Best way to lock in, making sure you're subscribed. So thank you for that. So the way that we approach this thing, I'm assuming we're not staying at 4 teams. I've been a big fan of the 4-team model. I think the 4-team model checks a lot of boxes for what I want in a college football playoff, but I threw the 4-team model out the window because I think that probably gives us the best answer to this question. So how many teams are we putting in our playoff? We're going with a 6-team college football playoff model. The 1 seed and the 2 seed, you get a bye, but why 6 teams? For me, we've stood on this soapbox for a while right now, and we're going to keep standing on it. The emphasis stays on the regular season. The regular season, that is what has made college football since its existence. I understand you'll get more games in the 12-team playoff. I want more games to matter during the regular season. I want Ohio State, Michigan being played the last weekend of the season, meaning as much as humanly possible. That's how I feel about it. On the right year, you might get a 2-loss team in that six spot. Heck, maybe you find a 2-loss team in that 5 spot. Depends on the year. But for the most part, it's going to be 1-loss teams or undefeated teams that make our perfect college football playoff model. Just for the record, tripling the field from 4 to 12. We're shouting at a cloud here. We're probably on an island shouting this. This never made any sense. Never made any sense to say, let's go from 4 teams to 12 teams. I digress. How are we deciding these 6 teams, JD? We going conference champions? We going automatic bids? How are we doing this? We're going with the same process as this 4-team format. Before you yell at me, I'm not staying with the same committee. I love the committee. I appreciate the committee, what they've done for college football. It is the worst job in the world every time you get to that first weekend of December and you have to make a choice on Selection Sunday. I get it. But we're going to add some more folks to that room. Like, I want people that have been around college football, that played college football, that coached college football, that watch college football in the sicko-like fashion that you and I watch college football from 7 a.m. to however late, 2 a.m., Pac-12 After Dark, rest in peace. I want those people in the room. So I'm going to go ahead and add Kirk Herbstreit to the committee. I'm adding Joel Klatt to the committee. Nick Saban, he's done at Alabama. You're in the committee. Reese Davis watches a lot of ball, dude. You watch him on College Game Day, he's pulling out wild trivia facts that nobody else on the desk can answer. He's on the committee. So I feel good about my committee. We're still going with the 6 highest-ranked teams. Going back to our format here. Round 1, 3 versus 6 in terms of seeding, 4 versus 5. Now the 1 seed and the 2 seed, kick them up, you got to buy. The beautiful part about this for the first round, man, we're on campus. That's the thing that I think this 12-team model got right, taking college football back to the people. I want to see a playoff game in South Bend, Indiana. I want to see a playoff game in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I want to see a playoff game in Columbus, Ohio. Wherever it's at, college football playoff games on campus, that's going to be cinematic. That's going to be so cool. And I love that we're getting that in the 12-team model. I just want us to have 2 of them, though, for this first round of a playoff games. You still get the electricity factor of being on campus, but I love the fact that we would get national focus on our college football playoff games by having just 2. In this 12-team format, you'll have a bunch of them, and you'll kind of keep up with a couple of them. I'm sure you'll watch all of them. Don't get it twisted. But the fact that you just got 2 being played on the same day, that's going to be awesome. So on campus in that first round. We love it. Now, moving on to round 2, the winner of 4 versus 5 plays the 1 seed. The winner of 3 versus 6 plays the 2 seed. Now, for this game, I want bowl sites. And I love the fact that we go to the campus in the first round. The reason I want a bowl site, though, is because I want the environment to be as controlled as possible for our semifinal games. And not because I don't love the on-campus aspect. I think that's great. There's no other way to, recreate that. And that's why college football is special. But the neutral site, we get, the Jerry Worlds. We get Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta. We get a roof over the whole thing. As much as I would love to see a game played in Ann Arbor, Michigan for a chance to go to the national championship, that'd be awesome. I don't love the weather factor there. Like, the weather factor, I think, could in some ways give a too decided of an advantage to the home team. If Michigan's out there and they're playing, let's just say they're playing USC. And that's going to happen now, but USC, not used to playing in the cold. Maybe they are in the Big Ten. It's probably a bad example. Let's say we got Michigan and we got Miami. Miami's played indoors. They've played in, nicer weather. You hear what I'm saying? That would be a massive advantage to Michigan. I want those environments, those variables controlled as much as possible. So from there, this is what gets me fired up, man. This is what got me juiced about this whole segment. Our national championship game is going to be two things. One, permanently at the Rose Bowl. Second, played on Saturday. We'll start with the Rose Bowl. I went to one national championship game when it was played at the Rose Bowl. It was Auburn, it was Florida State, and it was absolutely unbelievable. Thankfully, I have had the privilege to go to a couple more as part of this job, which is just still hilarious to say out loud that going to the national championship game is a part of our job. But the environment in the Rose Bowl, I was second to last row. I was probably as far back from the field as you could be. My dad got tickets the day before the game. Someone just gave them to him from his work. It was absolutely unbelievable. But that environment, I thought, still felt very much so college football-ish. Does that make sense? Like, the games that are played at these other sites are still great productions. The people that put on the college football playoff, man, first class, second to none. But with that being said, there's a certain corporate feel about a game being played in NRG Stadium or a game being played in Los Angeles. Awesome venues, nothing against it. But with our sport and what makes it so special, the tradition, the pageantry, the venues themselves that are specific to college football, like the Rose Bowl, we understand this now. You move into halftime, and that sun starts to set on the mountains, and it just becomes essentially an oil painting being played in front of you for 4 quarters. Like, that's special. That's very special. And I think the fact that it would be played at the Rose Bowl helps preserve as much as possible what makes our game special, and it gets put in front of everybody on national television. Oh, that's college football. That's the Rose Bowl. No discussion about it. So that's the first part of this. The other part of this is being played on Saturday. If we're making the perfect college football playoff model, our national title game is on Saturday. When was it ever decided to play the national championship game, the biggest game in the entirety of the year, on a day that is pretty much for the most part never played a college football playoff game through the regular season? College football is a Saturday sport. Let's make the biggest game of the entire calendar year on Saturday. Can we do that? Can we lock in for that? Great. Appreciate it. So for us, again, to review this year, our college football playoff model is round 1, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5. We're on campus, baby. Absolutely love it. Round 2, 1 and 2, they're playing the winners of those matchups at a bowl site. I want controlled environment, controlled variables, national title game, Saturday, Rose Bowl. Perfect. No other way to say it. It would be absolutely perfect. 6 teams with a committee, emphasis on the regular season as much as possible. I think it'd be awesome. I think it'd be awesome. I'm not saying we have to stick with it forever, but let's just try it out. 4 to 12 never really made that much sense. So those are what we would put into the college football playoff, and that would be for us, for our money, perfect model. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.